Jackie Mazzucato here, and today for my Thursday cook-up we're doing something very, very special. I've been waiting for a while to do this one for you. We're doing a Thursday night roast or a Sunday roast, but we're doing a roast chicken. Now I know there's plenty of videos out there that tell you how to do the perfect roast chicken. This is my version, and got something special in this one. It's got rice. You might think, what's the rice for? I'm going to make a beautiful white lemon risotto, and we're going to stick that inside our chicken. And that takes a chicken this sort of size from feeding, 4 to perhaps feeding, 6 or more, because you've also got that beautiful risotto that comes out at the end. But we're going to flavour that with some herbs that I've got from the garden: rosemary, garlic, some beautiful chives. I'm going to use an Australian native ingredient, some saltbush, instead of using salt. I really like what that brings to the dish. We've got some onions there that'll go into our risotto mix. Just a standard normal risotto. So we've got the cheese, the parmesan, lemon rind. I never have enough lemons to preserve because I'm always actually taking the lemon rind off. And we'll actually put lemon juice as well into that risotto. So this one's not just for me. This one we'll use in the risotto as well, and we'll burn that off just before we start using the stock. And then I've just got my chicken stock here as well. So let's get going. Let's make that risotto so we can get that chicken stuffed, and then I'll show you the other 2 secret steps to making this the perfect roast chicken. Okay, so the first step we've done is we've popped our chicken and lemon. So I've squeezed the lemon into that chicken stock. So we've popped the chicken stock and the lemon into a pan here, and that's heating up because I want to bring that to a boil. It's really important that I'm adding hot liquid to my rice mixture when making risotto. I do have a chicken and mushroom risotto which takes you through all of the steps to making the perfect risotto, but I'm just popping some olive oil in the bottom of that pan to coat the bottom of the pan. We've got 1 onion there all diced up. Ooh, listen to that sizzle. Always heat your pan up first, then heat your oil, and then add your ingredients. So we're just going to cook those down slightly. I'm actually going to turn that down now so that we can, instead of frying them up and making them all brown, we want to just make them translucent. So this bit's going to take about 10 minutes or so, just on a really, really low heat. Okay, so our onions have cooked down now, and we're going to start to add our other ingredients. I like to cook everything off first. I'm going to put half that garlic in. I'll tell you what we're going to do with the other half in a little while. So just quickly cook that garlic off. You don't want it to cook too long. I'm going to pop some of that lemon rind in. Again, I'm going to need some of that for something else. So we've got lemon in the stock and the lemon rind. That'll bring a beautiful, beautiful flavour. Half the saltbush. Oh, yum! All I can smell is delicious lemoniness. That's beautiful. I've got rosemary from the garden. I've really just gone out into the garden and chosen herbs that I had sort of in abundance, and the 2 that I had that I thought would be really nice with the lemon were the chives and the rosemary. Oh, the smells. I love the smells when I'm cooking. That delicious, delicious aroma. I should be calling it, a bit more posh to call it aroma. Okay, so I've let that cook just a tiny bit down. I'm just going to add a dash more oil because I really want to coat the rice. So let's let that warm through. Probably about a cup of rice there. Because I'm adding my stock as I go, the hot stock, I might not use all of that stock. I don't really have to be too precise about the measurement. Now we'll probably end up with more than what we can use today. Normally I make 1 batch of the lemon risotto, and I just put that in the freezer. So I use half today and I'll put half in the freezer. So next time I go to make this, half the job's already done. And then we're going to add some suave Italian white into that. You can't make an Italian risotto without Italian white wine. And that's going to just cook off slightly and be the first liquids that we add. We're going to bring that back to the boil, let that all absorb into the rice, and then we're going to get started adding our chicken stock lemon mixture, just a little bit at a time. This is a good time, now you've got all your ingredients in there, just to season slightly. I've got some Italian rock salt for my Italian risotto. Might have to get my Italian chef's hat out again. Oh, just wonderful, wonderful fragrance aromas coming up here. And you know, this is something, we're all a bit budget conscious at the moment with the cost of living. This can actually be eaten as a meal in itself. But I do find when you're feeding a family and you're doing a nice big roast dinner, it actually makes the meat part of your dish go a lot further. I think this is actually my kids' favourite part, is the risotto in the middle. Okay, so if you want to know the chicken and mushroom risotto one, head across to my YouTube channel, subscribe, you'll get all my videos, but the chicken and mushroom risotto video is there, and I take you through every single step of making the most delicious chicken and mushroom risotto. I've been making it so many years that if I even change up one little thing, my daughter will tell me so. Okay, so that's sizzling away now. I've just added another lot of the stock, which we're cooking down now, but it's been about 10 minutes or so, and I really want to start to taste this and see how it's going. This one here, you probably want to go a little bit on the drier side than the softer side, but we do not want a gluggy mess. Tiny bit of bite still in the rice, just a little bit too much. So I am going to add just a tiny bit more stock. This is where I start adding a little bit less stock each time, and I make sure that I absolutely cook all of the stock that's in there down so my rice is almost catching on the bottom before I add the next bit, and that's how you'll get the maximum starch out of your rice. Oh, delicious. I think I've always made risottos and I play around with the flavours and the taste, but they're just absolutely delicious, and they were great when my kids were growing up because they would be in the kitchen with me and we'd be talking about what we were going to put in there. But yeah, chicken, mushroom, white wine, garlic, beautiful, pumpkin. I make a chili brine prawn risotto. That one's spectacular. In fact, I might show you that one in a few weeks. So that's been sitting there for a minute. It's absorbed all the rest of that liquid. It's absolutely at the perfect rice consistency. Remember, the rice will still keep cooking because it's still fairly warm in there. And this is when I add a couple of knobs of butter and my Parmesan cheese. And we just stir that through, and that's going to make this a very rich and delicious dish. If you've got someone in your family, if they're vegan, well, obviously they're not going to have the roast chicken, but you can actually make this vegan by using nutritional yeast instead of using the Parmesan. And I would obviously use vegetable stock. Now, one of the things we really want to make sure we're doing when we're roasting a chicken, want to get this beautiful golden crust, absolutely. And we'll do that with some salt and pepper and olive oil, and I'll show you something else. But you really want to keep your chicken moist, and there's a number of ways of doing that. I've got a number of recipes where you do things like brine the chicken first, but this one here, I'm going to use good old butter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add all those same flavors that we put into the risotto into that butter. So there's our chives, saltbush, and we will add a little bit of salt because it's a different kind of salt taste. It's a great ingredient for cooking with. In fact, I actually have a Australian herbs and spices version of this as well. And I use desert lime and saltbush and lemon myrtle. But today we're using all of that rosemary and the lemon rind to give it that beautiful lemony taste, and some of that garlic. I don't think we'll use all of that garlic. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to get in there with my fingers and I'm going to mush that into the butter. Very therapeutic. I've let this butter go to room temperature to make it easier to do that. Okay, so we've got our beautiful chicken here. Now I always go for ones that have got a nice amount of meat on the bones. I love organic chickens, love free range, hormone-free chicken, corn-fed, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, choose a good quality chicken. And this one I got, it was $9. $9 for a chicken that's going to feed probably 6 people once we sort of get our stuffing and things like that in there. So my risotto's cooled down now. So I'm literally just going to spoon that one in there. Oh, yum. And I love what this does is when you stuff the cavity of the chicken like this, it actually plumps up the whole of the chicken. And so the breasts really sit up nicely when you do this. So we're just gonna shake him down. I want to get as much in there as possible. So I'm just gonna push that risotto down into our chicken. And this risotto, just absolutely so thrilled with it. So again, you know, make a double batch if you want to put some in the freezer so you've always got a meal ready to go. I'm just going to shake that down into there, push it down a little bit further, and then bring the ends up over like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going up underneath the skin here. You'll see that there's a cavity here that you can get up underneath the skin. And I'm just going to push through both sides, right the way to the end. Just do it gently. The better quality your chicken, the better or more easily you'll be able to do this. Now I've divided that beautiful herb butter into 2, and we're just literally going to push that in under the skin there, and then just push that around there. Oh, this is just going to be so sensational. Not a good one if you're on a low-fat diet, but I'm not. So here we go, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chicken. And a roast is something special. Doesn't matter if you've got a little bit extra on your hands, just push that across the skin there. So what we're going to do is to make sure we keep all of that beautiful stuffing in, we're just going to top it up. Now that it's been sitting there, it can have a bit more in there. And we're just going to bring it closed, and I'm going to get a toothpick and keep that one closed. So what I'm going to do now is just a little bit of sea salt on the top of my chicken. I don't use very much because I'm about to pop some bacon on top, and that will actually add some salt to it. Tiny little bit of salt bush. And now I love pepper, and I love this pepper grinder. I've had this pepper grinder for so many years, but there's something quite special about using this pepper grinder in the kitchen. So nice layer on there. I'm not going to put some oil on that at this stage because the fat will render out of the bacon, and that's all we need. So now, just as I said, the cheapest cuts of bacon, streaky, fatty bacon. Don't worry about taking the rind off. We're going to cook this to an absolute crisp. But I'm going to preheat the oven now to 200 degrees. Now the reason we're putting this bacon on the top is just to keep it from drying out. We're actually going to take this off halfway through the cook, and we'll reserve that for something else, and then we're going to let the skin just beautifully golden up. So we're ready. I love to use a big heavy based baking dish. I'm just popping some onions up because I want to keep this chicken up off the bottom of my pan. And in it goes. So we prepared those potatoes because I didn't want those to start to go brown. And so if you pop them in the water, you can even do that a day ahead. So, you know, you can have your chicken all ready like this a day ahead in the fridge. You have these soaking in water and just pop these in, and you're ready to go. Let the oven do the rest of the work, and you know, you've turned what would normally be a busy day into a relaxing day. I love recipes that you can pop in and everything's done when people get here, so you don't miss out on any of the fun. Not one for missing out on fun. Browns is just stick those in around the bottom of my chicken, and then once they're all in the bottom of the pan, drizzle a tiny bit of oil on the top of those. We've still got some of that beautiful salt bush. We'll stick that in there. We'll rub some of that in. And I reserved some of that garlic, and we're just going to sort of push a bit of that into the top as well. Oh, these are going to be delicious. Sometimes I do these where I actually bake them in their own pan with a little bit of chicken stock in the bottom, so that makes the bottoms all beautiful and soft like the inside, and then you have these beautiful crisp tops. But that's how we're doing those today. I'm going to then pop that in the oven at 200 degrees. About 45 minutes into the cook, I'm going to turn the oven down. I'm going to take the bacon off the top, and I'm going to pop my carrots in there. And I've just cut my carrots in quarters, ready to go. I like those to cook a long time because I like those to just absolutely just go as beautiful and caramelized as I can. So here's our delicious, delicious, delicious roast chicken out of the oven. Don't worry that some of the stuffing's fallen out because we're going to plate that all up. But the last step, the most important step, is we're going to cover that with foil, and we need to let it rest for pretty much as long as we've had it in the oven. So that's an hour and a half.